Good afternoon. I would like to call to order the special city council meeting. The time is now 4:36. City Clerk Duarte, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mayor. Councilmember Frometa.
Present.
Councilmember Ortiz.
Present.
Councilmember Trujillo is excused. Mayor Pro Tem Pemberton.
Present.
And Mayor Sosa.
Present. Thank you. And I take we have no speakers, public comment?
We do not, Mayor.
Okay.
And no written public comment either.
Thank you. Is there a motion and a second to close public comment?
So moved.
Second.
Sorted by the mayor. We'll move on to, this is a special meeting. We'll move on to administrative reports. One item on the agenda, consideration of an interim urgency ordinance establishing a 45-day moratorium on single-price overstock discount stores within city limits. That City Council adopt interim urgency ordinance number 25-1528 pursuant to Government Code Section 65858, establishing a 45-day moratorium on the approval, commencement, establishment, relocation, or expansion of single-price overstock discount stores within city limits. City Manager Bradley, is your staff report?
Yes, Mayor, if it pleases the council, I'll turn it over to our Community Development Director, Irma Wheatron.
Thank you, City Manager Bradley. Mayor and council members, we have one item tonight, which is a consideration of an interim ordinance regarding discount stores, and tonight's presentation will be provided by our contract planner, Laurel Reimer, and we have a brief PowerPoint presentation that we'll walk you through that aligns with the content of the staff report provided to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, council members. Like Irma said, my name is Laurel Reimer, and I will be presenting the urgency ordinance before you. So for some background, pursuant to Government Code Section 65858, a city may enact an urgency ordinance for the protection of public health, safety, and welfare by prohibiting any uses that the city is intending to study within a reasonable period of time. Urgency ordinances require a 44/5 vote from the City Council, and if approved, they go into effect immediately and will be in effect for 45 days. An urgency ordinance can be extended for an additional 10 months and 15 days, which would then be a total of 1 year of an urgency ordinance, so long as there is a public notice, a public notice, a public hearing, and a written report that describes the measures taken to alleviate the conditions that led to the adoption of the urgency ordinance. The Downey Municipal Code has the definition for retail sales new and retail sales used, but it does not provide any details within those two broad categories. Under the current code, single price overstock slash discount stores that are selling new merchandise would be included under the retail sales new category and would be considered a permitted use in the C1, C2, C3, CM, and MU zones. However, single price overstock slash discount stores often negatively impact an area's economic vibrancy because these stores typically do not offer any improvements or minimal improvements to the spaces that they occupy. They frequently attract other bargain retail users, and they discourage higher quality retail and commercial uses from locating nearby. For the purposes of the ordinance before you tonight, a single price overstock slash discount store is defined as a retail store that sells individual items generally obtained through outlet, closeout, discounted, liquidation, or overstock. They are primarily at a discounted price in the low or very low price range, so $10 or less. A single price overstock slash discount store generally dedicates less than 15% of its shelf space to fresh or frozen foods or produce. They often sell an assortment of physical goods, products, or merchandise directly to the consumer. Single price overstock discount stores may have a profound impact on the public health, safety, general welfare, and quality of life of the surrounding communities. As previously stated, they often negatively impact an area's economic vibrancy because the uses offer minimum or no improvements to the spaces in which they occupy. They often encourage other bargain retailers from locating nearby, and they discourage higher quality retail uses from locating nearby. SPODS typically have lower quality items that end up costing more on a per ounce basis. They offer limited access to fresh foods. They also contribute to local resident fear of safety by being a source of trash, loitering, graffiti, and theft because they frequently don't have very good security plans. The Downey Municipal Code does not currently define SPODS as a use at all, so it's not permitted by right or conditional use, and there are currently no specific regulations to address some of the concerns that staff have related to the public health, safety, or welfare threats posed by SPODS. There's a concern about the proliferation of SPODS that there will be a proliferation of SPODS without further regulations, and that this could have a negative impact on the city. Should SPODS continue to be unregulated, such uses or such developments could constitute a current and immediate threat to the public health, safety, and welfare, and that such developments could start an irrevocable downward shift in the economic and aesthetic value of the city's commercial areas. Currently, there are 26 stores or discount stores within the city, and of those, 8 of them would qualify under the definition that we said tonight of SPODS, and they're listed here. The other 16 stores that aren't listed, that doesn't make sense, 18 stores that are listed would be stores like Ross, Burlington Coat Factory, etc. But those do not fit the definition of a single price overstock / discount retail store. So we are only talking about the very low and low cost stores, such as the ones you see here. Staff believes that the continued approval or of entitlements, building permits, and other approvals for new SPODS or the expansion of existing SPODS without further study and further regulations could pose a current and immediate threat to public health, safety, and general welfare. Further regulations are needed to protect the neighborhoods from negative secondary effects caused by the concentration or clustering of these uses. For these reasons, staff is requesting a 45-day moratorium on the approval, commencement, establishment, modification, relocation, or expansion of single-price overstock / discount stores. This will allow staff time to research appropriate regulations. This moratorium would explicitly prohibit the issuance of any zoning, land use, discretionary permit, building permit, environmental approval, business license, or any other entitlement involving businesses that are defined as SPODS. During this moratorium, staff intends to study the issues associated with SPODS to determine how they should be defined, how they should be regulated, and how they should be permitted, and also which locations would be most appropriate for them to be located in. Additionally, staff will review the development standards for other surrounding communities to see if any of those make sense for Downey. Staff has reviewed the proposed urgency ordinance for compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act and determined that the ordinance is covered by CEQA Guidelines Section 15061B3, which is the common sense exemption, and that specifically exempts activities that can be seen with certainty to have no possibility for causing a significant effect on the environment. In this case, this ordinance would preclude the approval, commencement, establishment, relocation, or expansion of certain land uses within the city, but it would not be a development project. Therefore, staff recommends that the City Council adopt interim urgency ordinance number 25-1528 pursuant to Government Code Section 65858, establishing a 45-day moratorium on the approval, commencement, establishment, relocation, or expansion of single-price overstock/discount stores within city limits. That concludes my presentation. I'm available for any questions.
Thank you, Laura, for that detailed report. At this time, do any council members have any questions or comments?
No questions, Mayor, just a comment. And again, I think this is important for our community, for our city. It is vital that we protect the aesthetics and, of course, looking at making sure that we protect from developments that are not in line with what this city and the vision that we have. So I thank you for the report. Appreciate it.
My comment on this is that I can concur with a lot of what you said, and residents that also have reported a lot of the loitering. Most of the loitering is around these discount stores. There may be a grocery store next door, but they're not there. They're at these discount stores for one reason or another. And I think, namely, like you have mentioned, they don't provide the security. They don't have somebody out there monitoring it or telling them that they can't stay. And then it is a blight to the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. It really is. And we have a number of them already. I think some of the city feedback with residents is, we are getting so many like this. I think a freestanding area might be different than in an area that's attracting a different type of consumer.
Correct.
All right, thank you for that.
I just do have one question. You said the difference between the other 20 stores and what those 8, what's the main difference between those two again?
Sure. So one of the specific, we go to the actual definition, and during the moratorium, should it be adopted, we will come up with a solid definition, but for the purpose of the urgency ordinance, the definition would be that they are obtained through the outlet, closeout, discounted liquidation, or overstock. So stores like Ross or Burlington Coat Factory, Nordstrom Rack, a lot of those fit that definition. So we went even further, and it's that very low or low discount price. So the $10 or less. A lot of the stores like a Ross or TJ Maxx wouldn't qualify in that sense. Similarly, they don't offer food goods so that they would meet that 15% or less of the shelf space. So it's more of the variety stores that are very discounted. That's what we're looking at.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
There are also some thrift stores that were on the list of the 26, but again, those, because it's that very low discount price, they don't qualify.
The thrift stores don't fall into that one, correct?
Correct.
Okay. No, and I echo the same sentiments as my colleagues. I think we have a goal and a vision, I think, that we want in our community, and I think this is a good direction of what we want. So thank you.
I'm ready to make a motion, Mayor.
Okay.
I make a motion to begin this moratorium, the urgency ordinance, and establish a 45-day moratorium on the approval, commencement, and establishment of these single-price overstock discount stores in our city.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Please vote.
The motion is approved with Councilmember Trujillo absent.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Okay, this city council meeting is now adjourned. The time is now 4:50.